Hello YouTubers, if you're watching this video, then you're interested in product information on a Leister Hemtek ST banner heat welder. My name is Bob Miller and I'm a product solution specialist, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the controls, accessories, and features on the Hemtek. What is a Hemtek? This is a all-in-one unit manufactured by Leister, and it's targeted to the entry-level sign shop up to the mid-level sign shop that are interested in bringing in in-house banner manufacturing. This is not target marketed towards a heavy-duty industrial billboard type of banner manufacturer. A Hemtek comes available as 110 volt or 220 volt, so order accordingly. The workflow on this device is considered a stationary workflow. There is 2 pressure nip rollers on the device, and the operator is to feed the banner material into the supplied hem guide and into the 2 pressure roller nip point, and the operator simply activates the foot pedal to begin the heat welding process and activate the foot pedal to stop the heat welding process, so the operators are hands-free, can concentrate on feeding the material into the hem guide. Leister recommends that you mount this unit on a heavy-duty wood shop table or a steel shop table. The mechanism weighs 60 pounds, and here at my shop today I have a 5 foot by 8 foot steel table. I've mounted the unit at the halfway point on my table, so I have 4 feet of support to the left and to the right, or to the in feet and to the exit. The mechanism itself overhangs the side of the table, and the very heat weld that you're going to be producing overhangs the side of the table or drapes. So what I've done to help the material handling solutions is I've added what I call an outrigger, or I've slipped 2 sheets of coroplast underneath my rehealable mat on my table surface, and I've overhung them, or I have them as an outrigger, 1 foot overhanging, to help with the material transport on the in feed and on the exit. And here at the operator station, I've left out a 2 foot notch so the operator can sit close and get close to the hem guide and the nozzle. There are several accessories or features that come standard with your Leister Hemtek. The first is your pressure nip roller weight. This is the weight that comes standard with the machine. Leister does sell a double size, heavy duty, double weight pressure nip roller. Leister and myself recommend that you really use the heavy duty roller when you're using the device. Another accessory that's very helpful that's available with the Hemtek is a nozzle guide adjustment plate. The operator simply brings the nozzle down into its stationary position and lifts the pressure nip roller up and puts the pressure guide plate in contact with the nozzle, and you can see if the nozzle is sitting up against it correctly and flush. If it's not, the operator needs to make some adjustments with some of the screw mount bolts. A standard feature that comes with your Leister Hemtek is your fold-over hem guide. The fold-over hem guide bolt mounts to the side of the Hemtek, and the fold-over hem guide has 3 size adjustments that coordinate with the fold-over hem size. Those adjustment sizes are 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter, 40 millimeter with an adjustment plate. And I'm going to go over this in a little more detail. Leister also supplies you with the clear nylon plug. Leister recommends that you operator inserts that plug into the barrel end tube on the side of the hem guide. A couple other things that I do in my shop. I do heat weld with gloves on. I do not go bare hands with this device. The nozzle is somewhere in the vicinity of 800 to 900 degrees, so I do make sure it dries your hands out. Also, make sure not to get in contact with the nozzle. There are 3 nozzles available with your Hemtek. 95% of the US sales go out with the 30 millimeter nozzle. Those nozzle sizes coordinate to the same measured increments on your hem guide plate. So the device is manufactured in Europe, so the measurements are in European standards. I'm going to give you now the US equivalent. A 20 millimeter nozzle equates to a 1 inch fold over hem. A 30 millimeter nozzle equates to a 1 1/4 inch fold over hem, and a 40 millimeter nozzle equates to a 1 1/2 inch fold over hem. Now, why is that important? Here in the US, almost all of us use a number 2 grommet. A number 2 grommet's outside diameter is 3/4 of an inch. So what I want to do in my banner making is get my grommet completely suspended within my hem. So as a general good guide rule of thumb, a 30 millimeter nozzle or an 1 1/4 nozzle will produce, a 30 millimeter nozzle will produce an 1.25" fold over hem, and you're suspending a 3/4 inch diameter number 2 grommet in it, there's a good chance that you're going to get that grommet in that hem completely. Most banner heat welding applications here in the US, most shops run a 13-ounce front lit scrim PVC banner material. A lot of shops will run a 15-ounce front lit scrim banner material. And in my shop, I run a heavy-duty 18-ounce blockout scrim banner PVC material. Because I'm running the 18-ounce blockout, I actually prefer the larger nozzle. So on this device, I have the 40 millimeter nozzle, and the 40 millimeter nozzle equates to 1.5 inches, and I'll be suspending that number 2 grommet at 3/4 inch diameter. It makes it easier for me to have a bigger hem to work with on that heavy duty material, and it gives me a lot more assurance that I can get the number 2 grommet suspended in the hem. I'm going to go over the 3 control settings that are on the Hemtek. The first setting is the feed rate or the speed control. The second setting is the temperature control. The third is the airflow, volume of airflow going through the nozzle. All Leister heat welding devices, the maximum temperature on the device is 600 degrees Celsius, or that equates to 1150 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's be realistic, folks. This is a 13-ounce front-lit PVC scrim banner material. And the last thing that I want to do is expose a fold-over hem to a maximum temperature of 1150 degrees Fahrenheit. Realistically, where I want to be with my heat welding temperature settings is somewhere between 800 and 900 degrees. So I'm going to go over some of these settings for you now. One of the easy things that I can do here is to give you a shorthand abbreviation of the settings that I like to use, which is a good entry reference point, what I refer to as a 363. So I have my feed rate set on the potentiometer knob at 3. I have my temperature set on the potentiometer knob at 6. And I have the airflow volume on the potentiometer knob set at 3. So I refer to it as 363. Activating the device. When you power on the device, the heat element does not activate unless the operator pushes the heat indicating button here, and an indicator light will come on. Leister recommends that you allow at least 10 minutes of dwell time for the heat nozzle to come up to temperature. I'm going to give you some reference piece of advice here. Before I begin production heat welding for the day, I do test on a piece of scrap my heat welding to make sure that my temperature settings and my feed rate are working correctly. I've provided some support to you end users out in the field here. I've produced a downloadable graphic file for your operators to be able to print out, and I refer to this as a practice graphic file. So what I've produced on your practice file is a PDF, and it's a 5-in-1 practice file. I've put 5 banners up on one sheet. So what you'll find in your practice test file is a 5x10, 4x8, 3x6, 2x4, and 1x2 banner that your operator can heat weld. For example, heat weld the 5x10, then trim the 5x10 off down to the 4x8 and heat weld accordingly. So they've got 5 practice banners up on one print. A couple of key features that I've printed on the test banner is a workflow in my shop that I like to use what's called a notch corner. A notch corner is a square holding line that I print in all 4 corners of it, and I take a pair of scissors and I notch the corner out. Now, why would I notch corners? When the operator and the workflow in my shop is I heat weld both long dimensions first. Then I flip the banner over, I make the right angle turn to feed the material perpendicular into the heat welder. When you make that right angle turn, with the notch corner, I only have 1 ply of material going through. I find it much easier to be able to feed through the mechanism and get much better corner results by notching the corners. Other things that I've printed on this practice graphic file for you is some printing business nomenclature, or how we refer to moving material around the shop. In the printing business, the long edge dimension of the sheet we refer to as the gripper, and in the printing business, the short edge dimension of the sheet we refer to as the side guide. So I've printed gripper side guide. I've also printed something called a head and a foot on here. So for example, if I've got a very long banner and I'm working with it and I'm moving the material around, I've got some terminology and nomenclature with my staff here that lift, turn, gripper, side guide, parallel, perpendicular, the practice graphic file is provided to you free of charge download. Simply go to the Leister website and pick up the support tab and pick up the download for the practice graphic file. Another feature I've done in the practice graphic file is what I call a bleed non-bleed. We all know in the banner making business that if you have a full bleed and we need to print trim, we typically trim to the color. Well, what happens if you have a white banner? So what I've done here, a non-bleed, what I've done is printed trim guide marks for you on your practice graphic file, and that's going to be a bleed, non-bleed, bleed, non-bleed, so your operator has a mixed bag gamut of different banners to practice on. The gang at Leister has given me some promotional material swag to give away. I have t-shirts and I have Leister promotional hats, and I'm going to have a drawing 6 months from now. Just simply hit the like and the subscribe. Make sure you put your contact information in there, and I'll throw your name in a hat. And in the beginning of April, I'm going to draw names, and I'm going to have Leister send out some promotional swag material to you guys. Thanks for watching the video. My name is Bob Miller. I'm a product solution specialist. I'm here demonstrating the Leister Hemtek ST. And don't forget to log and subscribe and put your contact info, so if you want to get in on some Leister merchandise. And don't forget to log on to Leister and pick up the support tab and download your practice graphic test file for you guys to run in your shop. Thanks for watching the video.